I honestly wasn't holding out hope that these were 10 karat. I thought they might be, but man, I am well pleased. They're just very, very dirty. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I like to do is to create videos that I would have found helpful when I first got out looking for treasure. Today I have a selection of things that I actually got on garage sale day. So this was on a Friday. For those that don't do much garage sailing, one of the key things for me, at least around here, is to make sure you get out real early Friday morning because a lot of the real big deals will be had then. For example, I was having a bit of a frustrating Friday because there was a garage sale that said it opened at 8, and I got there 10 minutes early, and then people were out. I tend to find it very rude if I'm like pushing, if I'm there before it's opened. I don't think it's a nice thing to do to people, but sadly, I walk up and there was boxes and boxes of jewelry, and I said, "Oh, is that for sale?" And the lady's like, "No, somebody already bought that. They bought all of it at once." And I was a little bummed out. Now, I did in their free bin get this, which I think we're gonna find has some good stuff in it. So a little bit of a consolation prize. And then later at the next garage sale I went to, I found this. So this particular piece we'll talk about quite a bit, and we'll talk about the process of cleaning it up. But I'm so happy with this that it was fine. You know what? Whoever that guy was who bought all that jewelry, he can have it. I'm happy with my prize here. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go through what I bought. I haven't quite figured out some of these pearls yet, but they were like $1 each, so I thought, well, let's grab them. And without further ado, let's look at what we got here. I think these are silver plated. I grabbed them because they were cheap, and I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe they won't be silver plated. Maybe they'll actually be like sterling or something, and we can look into that. But I think if we look close, you can see here, maybe, I don't know. I thought maybe that was where plating had worn off. Is that where plating is worn off? So I guess the next question is, I thought these were silver plated. There's no way these are going to be solid. If they were solid, they'd be marked, I think. Right? See any markings? I feel like I'm looking right here at plating that's worn off. Well, folks, I had fully believed these to be plated, and I still do. Don't get me wrong. I still believe they're plated. But generally the marks that I would see as to, like, noting that they're plated, you know what? Why don't we hit it with a magnet? There we go. Definitely silver plated. So when in doubt, pull out your magnet. Anyways, I liked it. It's just got some real heft to it. I think it'll polish up nice. It's in nice condition. Silver plated Nutcracker. For, I don't know, I think it was $0.25 or something. Paid $1 for that. It's just a Bolo Tie. But like, I buy these for my neighbor for $1 because they cost more than that new for her. And this might be silver. It's got a really good tarnish to it. We could probably test it. But yeah, this one's nice. I think it'll pair nicely with probably even if it isn't sterling, it would pair nicely with a silver Bolo Tie. But that will go over to her. Why don't I take this off so that it doesn't, it's too late. It's too late. Yep, all right. Let's continue through here. These I grabbed because they were 75 cents. And you know what? Anytime I find sterling for 75 cents, I grab it. I just thought they were cute. And I suppose the question is, how much sterling did I buy for 75 cents? Did we actually do well from a silver perspective? Why don't we unscrew these and we'll test. by weighing it up. So I got a scale back here. I'm curious. Start up that scale. So for 75 cents, we purchased 2.1 grams of silver. So that's about $1 worth of silver for 75 cents. Oh, wait, no, $2, almost $2 worth of silver for 75 cents. So that's not bad. But these actually are in nice enough shape. I think I'll probably polish these up and we'll use them. I think they can get polished. A lot of times with these old salt shakers, the salt has eaten the silver so badly, they really are just scrap. But these actually, I think, might be nice enough for us to actually use. And I feel like they were certainly worth the 75 cents. Okay, speaking of 75 cents, this one right here, let's get that staple out of there. This was a good sale. Actually, I already pulled out. I thought I pulled out all the staples so that would be quicker for the video. But the reason they did that was they put the sticker on and then put a staple through the sticker so that people couldn't take off the sticker and put it on something else. So they couldn't take the $4 sticker off and put a 75-cent sticker on there, which I thought was smart. I grabbed this at 75 cents because I thought, oh, maybe it's gold. Now, you ask, what, you're seeing tarnish here, and you think that's gold? Well, old gold can sometimes tarnish, and in fact, I should have a piece of it around here somewhere. You know what? I need to keep that piece available for my videos. If you've watched my previous videos, you've seen I have 10 karat gold that is very tarnished. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to pause this video and dig it out. If this piece is 10 karat, it's not the piece I was thinking about. I got too much stuff around. But do you see that discoloration there? That's due to the heat of that pin being put on and that it's just tarnished over time. So keep in mind, you can see, in fact, like if you look down in there, this is properly a 10 karat piece, but you actually have some real nice tarnish on there. There we go. And I could take that tarnish off if I wanted, but I'm not going to. So keep in mind, it can happen. Particular 10 karat will tarnish, like if you have a 10 karat ring or something, it may tarnish up in a hot tub, especially like old hot tubs. So older 10 karat pieces that have been in those like 70s hot tubs that had some serious hardcore chemicals going on in them will come out this whole black color. So just because you see that with an old piece doesn't necessarily preclude it from being gold. So I thought with this nice little latch, and the quality of this piece, because this is a quality piece, it might end up being gold. But let's have a look here. We have our markings. Looks like an M and 1/20th 12K. So that is a gold fill bracelet. Nice little bracelet, frankly. Definitely nice for 75 cents. And then, of course, if we're talking about 1/20th 12 karat, we can get a notion of how much gold is in this by doing a little math. So let's weigh it up and we'll say, all right, that's 10 grams. So we've got 10 grams and 10 grams. Let me think, what is 12 karat? Is 12 karat 50% gold? I think 12 karat's 50% gold. Which makes this quite easy, actually. So we've got 10 grams of 50% gold. So we've got 5 grams, obviously, because it's 10 grams. Now it's 5 grams because it's 50% gold, times 0.2, because it's 1/20th 12 karat. So in theory, there's a gram of gold in there, if I did my math right. Because 10, no, that's not right. I didn't do my math right at all. 10 grams times 0.02, 0.2. So there's 0.1 of it. All right, I can't do math at all. Just a moment. Quarter of a gram of gold. Now, a quarter of a gram of gold is still 25 bucks. So theoretically, there's 25 bucks worth of gold in it. In actuality, more like 10 bucks is what something like this would go for to a scrapper. Generally, a gold fill material ends up being about $1 a gram right now when people are buying it. Maybe a little bit more, the gold has gotten higher. But if you could extract all the gold that was supposedly in this when it started, that would be like a quarter gram of gold. Okay, I need more sleep, and I shouldn't try to do math on camera. We've established these 2 facts. Let's establish some more facts about the stuff we've got in here. This I bought because I love Montana agates, and that's what this is. This is just gold plate, but it's a little gold plate tie clip, and then just Montana agates are just so dang cool. I mean, look at that. How cool is that? Get your different bands. Just they polish up so nice. They have such nice designs and different colors in them. Man. So anyways, I just have a thing for buying Montana agates. Call me crazy. When I see them, I have to grab them. All right, let's look at this watch here real quick before we tackle the pearls. So you can see right off the bat, whatever this is definitely on brass. So that's a watch chain. Oh, that's separate from the watch. What do we got here? AHW. Man, that looks pretty good on the face. Sorry, I paused it for a little cough there. But you can see how it's so black underneath that AHW. We got through whatever this surface material is. I think, yeah. All right, you can see it here. Just barely on the camera. Let's see how we have 2 different materials, like the whole face. You can just barely make out that little line there. So the face of it is actually some other material, but it's real thin, like wispy thin. In fact, I can show you something that's less wispy thin, I think. If I were to... Oh, I can show you with this. This is actually sort of the same concept. So where you have 2 different materials, you have a material and you have a material. See how you got that line there? And then one material and the next. It's the same thing here. In fact, you can see it really good down on the corner there, right? Now that surface material is probably, by the looks of it, white gold. And we could test it. I'm not sure if there's any other pieces to test by the end of this video. We'll go ahead and test it and see if it is white gold. Might be silver, but generally speaking, when you find a piece like this that's this old and this dirty, if it is silver, you'll see tarnish. So what I'm guessing is if we have a very thin layer, oh, you can see it really good with the light there. We have a very thin layer of white gold put on top of brass. Yeah. So that's something I think to keep an eye out for. This kind of stuff isn't usually marked, but realistically, with as expensive as gold has gotten, even a little bit of gold like this could be, a great deal of money compared to what you're paying. Like in this case, it was $4 for the watch in this. I'm thinking that's more than $4 worth of gold if it is white gold. So, all right, let's set that one aside. If we have other things to test, we'll test it. Otherwise, let's continue. Now, watches. Now, how should I put it with watches? My opinion on watches now is that I buy watches when they're really cheap and I like them. But I don't ever expect them to be worth anything unless they're gold. And I like grabbing an old watch like this because sometimes these things are solid gold. And you can tell generally with a watch by opening it up. Now this one I think has a couple interesting things going on with it right off. So it doesn't work. I tried to wind it. It didn't kick over. It didn't work. And one of the fun things is look at the dial face. It had a name on there, right? What happened to it? And look at the numbers. Somebody tried to fix this dial face. They painted on it and they tried to get it back up and kicking at some point, and they didn't do They didn't do a job that I would say is worthy of probably the original watch. But what we can do when you find a watch like this, if you're brave, you can look at it real close and see, do we have any obvious signs of plate coming up? No. Now, with most slightly more modern watches, they'll actually tell you on the back what they're made out of. But the slightly older ones will tell you on the inside what they're made out of. In this case, this is an older watch. You can see the brass coming through here, so the band is definitely not gold. And in fact, the band will probably tell us what it is. Yeah, there it is. What does it say? Hadley. Oh, yeah. So that's 12 karat, 1/20th 12 karat gold fill. But you can always put a different band on a watch, so it's worth it to try to figure out what the watch is made of. And the reason I bought this was I thought that there was some small chance that this was gold. It kind of had a good look. I'm not seeing, like you saw when I was looking close for places where it's worn through. Oh, well, as soon as I say that, yeah, that looks like it's some plate that's worn through probably right there. So I think we'll get inside this one and we'll find that it's plate. But yeah, they open up generally. Usually something as simple as what we just did there. It's pretty cool. I love that. Look at those dials. That blue on it. Sometimes they'll say inside there what it is. But I think in this case, we're going to have to take out the watch. Can I take this band and invert it? Well, we'll get it out of the way that way. There we go. As far as value of these little watches go, unless they're like something really, really desirable in terms of the maker, there's not a lot of value in these things. And generally, these cases that are gold filled just get scrapped. Wonder. Can we? Oh, yep. Very gentle here. All right, let me pause it, and I'll try to get this out off camera with maybe a little bit of a tool. Okay, the tool I ended up using was my fingernail, but we got it. All right, we'll have a look at the action here in a second. Movement, excuse me. Should use the correct terms. But first off, we want to see, oh, there it is. So we have 20 karat rolled gold plate. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so the reason this looks really good is that it is a 20 karat layer of solid gold over brass. So the reason this is worn well is because this is a pretty serious amount of gold going on here. And you notice it's white. If you haven't watched it recently, I just put up a video about, or within the last few weeks, I put up a video about white gold. And I tend to find that white gold is a really good place to get gold, because oftentimes people think it's not gold. They think it's silver. So they wouldn't necessarily expect something of this color to be gold. And it can be a really good place for you to make some money if you're looking for turning a profit. The silver bin can help you out. So yeah, this is actually a pretty solid amount of gold going on in here. All right, let's see if we can figure out what this movement is. For any of you watch people who might watch me, I don't know how many watch people do watch my videos, but 16, 18 joules. I don't know why you'd say 16 and 18. 2 adjust. Diedesheim Swiss Winton. Does it? it spin? No. Doesn't want to move, does it? Well, there it's kicking over a little bit. Yeah. I'm guessing this watch hasn't been serviced since time began. And, well, probably was serviced when some watchmaker did that to it. And I'm guessing that they probably didn't service it very well if this was the quality of dial restoration they had. In any case, it's a nice little rolled gold case. Definitely worth $4. I'm sure there's $4 worth of gold in here. And in fact, we can weigh it up real quick. We're using that more or less gold fill cells because it is difficult to extract. It generally sells for something like $1 a gram. And we have a bracelet and a case that are more or less gold fill, and that's $9 or basically $9. It's 9.74 weight. So good for $4, especially considering I think that, you know, these two things came together. And I suspect this is actually white gold, just like this, effectively. And in fact, you could say that's rolled gold plate. And realistically, that probably exactly what that is right there. You can see that plate. That's probably a really good example if you want to know what rolled gold is. That is rolled gold. It's a rolled gold plate on top of brass, and that's what's going on within this watch. Okay, I'm going to pause so I can put this watch back in without making this video unduly long. Go. All right, let's set those aside. Should we tackle the pearls or should we talk about this? So this is the big prize of the day. I think we'll do the pearls after we do this. I'm very excited about this particular piece. If you've seen my shorts feed, you've already seen this piece. This is actually something which I'm going to cut to an earlier video of it. 2 earlier videos, in fact, and then we will come back and I will show you what it looks like now. I wanted to include a video of how filthy this was. I just purchased this at a garage sale for $5, and I thought, oh, that looks like it's old silver plate at first. It's obviously tremendously filthy. And I saw bits of green on it, which turned out to be wax. I think there was candles on this at different times, and little bits of green are, oh, like here. Actually, that's not verdigris, that's candle wax. We're done washing it, so at this point, this is a piece that hasn't really been polished in a very long time. You can see we've gotten all of the scum off of it. And now we're pretty much, aside from not quite being able to get down in there and get everything off, now we're down to a point where we can polish this. But it is so much better looking. And in fact, if it had just been clean when I first saw it, I would have thought that this was actually silver and not necessarily silver plate. So the next stage is I'm going to polish this one up because I like it so much. This is going to be something that I use probably the rest of my life. So you can see what it was like when I bought it. I really did think that it was a plate. But now you can see, aside from a little bit of cloudiness, and I'm not entirely sure how to get that cleared up. Maybe I'm just not good at polishing yet. Maybe there's some other kind of polish I need to do. It really did clean up nice. And it is a beautiful piece. Like, just the craftsmanship that went into it is something else. You can see I still have some tarnish there. There's some spots that I was having a hard time with. I haven't really done a lot of silver polishing. Generally speaking, in my collecting experience, I like patina, so I don't really like to polish things too much. You can't put patina on realistically. It's just with time. So when you take it off, it's forever. But in this case, I want to use this for Christmas. So I wanted to bring it back to how it was when it was made in, I think, 1887. I'm not sure what the 1922 is, what that date actually indicates. If it indicates a date at all, it could indicate like a model number. But this is 830 silver. At the time, either 1887 or 1922. In Norway, if you were making silver, the law was you had to stamp it with 830, and it was assayed to be a minimum of 830 silver content. So this is at least 830 silver. It could be sterling. I find a lot of the nicer pieces out of the Norwegian stuff is actually sterling, because that's what they wanted to work with, even though the law was that they had to mark it 830. And then, of course, it has this beautiful, beautiful engraving here in the date. I believe that would be February 2nd, 1887. And then, also, this bit here is hollow. You can look down in there. There's nothing going on in there except a little bit of scunge that I haven't figured out how to... I need to, like, get a little brush or something down in there. And then, something going on the inside... Hear it? I don't know what's rattling, but I think it's inside this or inside this. And I don't know how that happened, and I don't know what's going on with that. If anyone can tell me what might be rattling inside a piece like this, I would love to know. But yeah, I am very, very happy with this. That was $5, very well spent. And we will really use this a lot come Christmas time. Okay, with that, let's go to the pearls. There's some earrings in here we'll talk about. We'll do that last, I think. But these pearls were all like $1 each. And I thought, you know what? They look nice. Maybe some of these are actual, like, real pearls. Or if not real pearls, cultured pearls. Some of my audience probably came to me through my pearl video. And if you've been with me for a while, you know that was one of my earlier videos. I did it on a request of somebody. And I ended up with a lot of views. I have learned a little bit more about pearls since then. But I still basically apply the same techniques to actually identifying them. Now we're going to start with a magnet. I just kind of want to see what's going on with some of these. Like, yeah, so the clasp, I feel like you're going to use a nicer clasp if you've got real, you know, good-sized pearls like this. But you see this? This clasp is not just like any kind of spring inside it being steel, but the clasp itself is actually just plated. So that's my first indication that whatever we're looking at here is probably not a real pearl. At least in terms of like being grown from a pearl. How should I put it? There's cultured pearls, which you could say are real pearls, where you put a bead in and then the pearl coats that, or the oyster coats that. And then there's pearls that start like with a grain of sand that are, I don't know what you call them, natural pearls. And I don't think you're going to have natural pearls with a steel catch. Also, this little, like if you're drilling through a pearl, right? Why would you have that little lip sticking up? Isn't this just like a, you know, it's a mother of pearl material. That lip doesn't seem right. That seems more plasticky to me. Now these feel good. They feel real solid. They sound real good. But I don't think these are real. I think these are probably like a high quality something. I just don't know what, because they sound good, they feel good, but that just does not seem right to me. I don't know. If you want to comment and tell me what you think these are. The color also seems kind of off, and then they are too uniform. So yeah, they're all basically exactly the same, more or less. For a strand of pearls to be pretty much exactly the same, you're going to have a very, very expensive... Oh, look at that. Look what we just did there. Is that just schmutz, or did we peel off a little bit of the outside of this pearl coating? I think we peeled a little bit of the outside of this pearl coating off. Yep. And underneath we've got some glass. So, yeah. So, nice. Nice costume pearls, for sure. Okay, so nice costume pearls down. Let's grab this one next. Now, just off the bat, I'm more inclined to think that these are like real natural pearls, or at least cultured pearls, because they're small. Now, the second thing that I like about these is that, see, this is like oblong, you know, where we have different shapes going on here, indicating more likelihood of natural. Let's look at the clasp here. Let's check for markings. Not seeing any markings there yet. Let's just, no, doesn't react to the magnet. That's good. Now, these will sometimes have markings on like the front back, on the front back of those, or yeah, there we go. Look at that. What does it say down in there? I flipped it the wrong way. It says sterling. And the number 4, maybe? See anything on the other side there? Nope. But yeah, a little sterling clasp. So these are all really good signs. Let's look at the pearls themselves. See, these look like they're maybe more drilled through. I think we probably have, maybe we have natural pearls on this strand. I'm going to ask for opinions on that one because I'm not certain. Let's look at one of the bigger ones here, shall we? And I think with sterling, they're probably not the highest quality, but like here we have a nice little divot going on. And I don't see something else underneath it. They feel real. They're cold to the touch. They could still be fake. I don't know. I don't know for certain on this one. But definitely the likelihood that these are something. Yeah, especially like, look how lumpy this guy is. I don't know. Leave a comment on your opinion on this strand. Whatever it is, I think it's a nice little strand. Definitely worth $1, in my opinion. All right, let's go with this one next. So we've got, you know, a good feel. We don't have a little plasticky feel. They're heavy. They're cool to the touch. And this clasp is a little too shiny. Guessing plated. Yeah. The reason I said yeah is when it's real gold, it's a little bit more... I think I got a real piece of... a real chunk of 14 karat here. Yeah, so this is plated. This is real. Do you see the scratches on the surface of the real one? I know it's subtle, and I know I go on about it a lot with my videos, but this, like, really, real little subtlety there, how it's scratched without being, well, still staying shiny, as opposed to this has almost like a pattern on it. That's the real gold versus gold plate. And it may take you a while to get a feel for it, but after a while you look at this and you go, that's plate. Now this piece is a little harder to tell it's plate, but this piece isn't, because this piece is, you can see where it was made and then plated over, and it kind of softens, or the edges get much more filled in, if you understand what I'm saying. So we're looking at a low quality clasp there. We've got some nice knots in between so we don't lose them, but these just look like they're maybe glass. Maybe they're just a dense plastic. They don't sound right. Let me compare. I've got a string of nice pearls in the background over here. So these are natural pearls with a gold clasp. And let's just listen. These are less cold than these. These are much colder. Now, obviously, I've been handling them for a bit, but these have a different feel. These are also very uniform. So I'm not sure what material these are, and I think they're a nice set of fake pearls. But I don't even think these are cultured pearls. I think these might be just like a really dense plastic, possibly. Now to compare here, again, we've got more warmth. I haven't been handling this one, but we got more warmth here than this. I don't think these are going to be real, but we'll have a look. So I think it's a pretty neat strand, whatever it is. Let's have a look at the clasp. The clasp is quite nice. Sterling. So it even has like a maker there. Yeah, that's definitely sterling. Put it back in, right? For anyone making their own videos, one of the things that I always do is I'm looking at whatever I'm doing through my camera. So sometimes if it seems like I'm fumbling, it's because I definitely am fumbling. But I am very keen on making sure that everyone watching is seeing what I'm seeing. So yeah, it looks like this just got a little bit caught somewhere on the edge there. Anywho, will that go back in? I may have doinked my... Oh, there we go. No? Yeah, no? Haha! We did it. Okay, now we can put that back in. Yeah, I don't think these are going to be like natural pearls, or even maybe cultured pearls. We're looking at something that's way too uniform. Like, I don't see much variation between them. They're not as cold. They're nice, but I don't think they're real. So for our $1, we got maybe real pearls. You folks will have to tell me. I think these probably are not, but nice. Less nice, to be certain. Probably on par with that. So for you pearl folks, if you can tell me what you think of that little haul, keeping in mind we paid $4 for it. So I feel like my daughter is probably going to have fun with these at $4. Or maybe they'll go to somebody who really wants to wear something like this. Because I think this particular one is very nice. I think someone is going to like that. And in fact, I'm going to hang it up somewhere that it can't get tangled. All right, so with that... Boy, this might turn into a little bit of a long video. We'll put this aside right here. Definitely bust that out at Christmas. And we have 2 more things to go through. I'll do this real quick. This is just $16.25 is what I paid for all of the stuff in the bags in this box at a garage sale. This is a bunch of earrings. And I've already had a look through it. None of these are anything. The best way you can tell if you're quickly looking for like gold, for example, or even silver for that matter, so have a look at the earring and then have a look at the posts. The posts will tell you a lot, because if you have like a plastic post, you're not looking at gold. And the quality of the posts can tell you what's going on. Here, we have maybe a gold post, but what is that on? What is that on? It's on these? I haven't looked at... I've looked at some of these while I was waiting in the car. Not all of them. Let's have a quick look at these and see what's going on. No, that's not gold. Maybe copper. But the reason I grabbed these, and I'm not seeing anything else in here that we need to necessarily talk about. Maybe that one, possibly. Have a look at that. Let's grab our magnet. Like, I think most of these are going to be magnetic. Yeah. Maybe we'll look at that one. I like to grab these, though, because of the backers. And the reason I grabbed this was because of the backers. And in particular, because of these two pieces that were in it. I thought the earrings might be gold. I have questions because when I look close at them, they got some weird schmutz going on. That might be verdigris. I can't quite tell. And, you know, when you got gold, usually you'll have it on the post. And in these cases, there's nothing written on the post. However, in the case of both of these earrings, 14 karat, 14 karat. So it has 14 karat backers. There's two of those, which, I mean, honestly, for $5, if you've priced these little backers out in 14 karat lately, you know, $5 is an okay price for those. And it's worth, like, you know, grabbing the rest of them, especially because there might be more in there. I think this is, yeah, so this is nothing. But I thought the back might be something. We'll just do a quick sort on these backs here. Okay, so those are nothing right there. That one doesn't react. Oh, man, that thing reacts like crazy. Do these two react? That one is nothing. But that one, I think, is probably gold. Let's have us a look-see. Nope. Yep, there it is. Is that 14 karat? Yep, 14 karat. So, oh, and it's gone forever. No, there it is. All right, we can take the rest of the stuff and we will close her up. Oh, put those little staples in there just to get them off my workbench here. And we'll set that one aside, and then we will see. So we got 3 14 karat backers out of it. I always like walking away with a little bit of gold whenever I can. And we will test these. So we'll test those and this at the end of this maybe overly long video. Okay, hopefully you're finding some of this useful. Now, this was all in a free bin. So everything in this bag, including the bag, was free. All right, and I was just digging around in the free bin because all this jewelry was just loose in it, and I just shoved it into this bag, which was in the bin. I think this is just some aluminum, yeah, aluminum tokens from Conoco along the Lewis and Clark Trail, Montana, the Treasure State. Let the journey begin. Lewis and Clark Bicentennial. Okay. Let's see if we can disentangle some stuff here real quick. Let's take necklaces out. There we have. I tend to find most of the Catholic jewelry is not silver. Sometimes it's silver, sometimes it's gold. Interestingly enough, oftentimes I'll find that this piece, the amulet, or I know there's all sorts of different names for these, but whatever that is will often just be like from Italy and not be made out of any precious metal. But the chain it's on is worth checking because oftentimes those can be something. In this case, I don't think so. I think this one's just stainless steel. Set that one aside. That is nothing. That's just stainless. American Red Cross pin. But I think everything else here is silver. So let's have us a look-see. Weird damage. verdigris down in there? Man, what happened there? Maybe something was soldered on or connected to this at one point. But I think it's silver. Yeah, 925. I bet you something was glued on here. But, you know, if nothing else, it's a little bit of scrap silver. Hey, you know what? I got a scale right here. See how much silver we got. 9 grams, 9.4. So, you know, $9 of silver, if nothing else. All right, next one here. So these open up generally. There's like a button. There's the button. Sometimes there'll be a mark on the inside. Here we have some real nice tarnish. Yeah, real nice tarnish there too. Usually they'll be marked. Yeah, there we go. There's our 925. Right there. So that's another one, and that one weighs in at, it's pretty messed up, so it's probably just scrap. That one weighs in at 6.6 grams. Pretty good for a free bin. This one sure looks like silver. Let's see, do we have any markings? Is that a marking right there? No. It does have a marking. And deposit there and find it. It is right there. See it? On the tip of my finger. Probably can't see it very good. Couldn't see it very good even with a loop, but that says 925. So that's a nice little bangle. That's actually like a legitimately nice little bangle. That one is not scrap, and it weighs 6.75 grams. All right, last one. Nice little, boy, I bet that's an amethyst. And we got marks right there. Yep, 925. And whatever that mark indicates, the maker, I think. That one's nice. And that one weighs in at 11.1. So our free pile of silver bracelets weigh in at 33.91 grams. Not bad for a free bin. Okay, what else we got? We've got some leather straps. This is copper, looks like. And we just have something I'm not going to undo on camera because this video is already going long. But I see a couple good things here. This looks like it's probably silver. Based on that right there. Yep. Yep, right there, sterling. So that's good, whatever that's tangled up in. Looks like that's a separate one to this. This looks like it's silver. Yeah, look at that. So we get 2 silver necklaces, Baroni. And then I think this is probably silver right here. Yep, right there. I don't think anything else is. Have a quick look at that. That's not. It's cool though. Look at that. Mother of pearl. But there's a couple reasons I don't think this is silver. One, that's shiny. It's too shiny. Just like it's like probably like rhodium plated maybe or chrome. And then this right here is just cheap. The bail, I believe that's called. Jewelry folks, if I'm using your terminology incorrectly, please let me know in the comments. Okay. Yeah, this video is probably going super long. What are we finishing off with? We're finishing off with some testing, right? All right, well, we'll sort that out. We'll get that handled later. And let me set up a test stone and we'll finish this video off. Test stone set up. We'll see if these things are just like dirty but are gold. I don't know. I have questions. Maybe we'll do the back of one of those, maybe. Maybe like back there, if I'm capable. Feels good. Looks maybe a bit brassy. We'll see. Yeah. Okay. So that'll be right there. And then, like I said, the back of this is not gold, but the front, I think, is a little plate of rolled gold. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and do just the front here a bit. And we'll check to see if it's like 10 karat. I think it's probably 10 karat or some kind of carat rolled gold. You know what? We're going to make sure that we've got a good one so that we can try all the different carat tests, shall we? There we go. All right. Set that there. Okay. We'll start with a little dab of 10 karat, working on my little dabs for blessed baubles there. There's just a little dab. Just a little dab. That's 10 karat. That looks like it's holding strong, doesn't it? Let's try our 14. I think we did well with our earrings based on this. Just a little dab. Just a little dab. Oh, maybe that's too little of a dab. Ah, maybe that's too big of a dab. Don't join. Don't join in. All right, so what are we looking at here? They're 14. So I think our earrings are 10 karat gold. And I think I goobered that. Oh no. But you know what we'll do is we'll do an 18 up here where I can't possibly goober it. Because I suspect, based on what I'm seeing there with the 14, that that's either 14 or maybe like the watch, it's like a 20 karat. So there's 18 karat. Yeah, so the 18 karat eats it away. So I think what we have is, on this one, we have 14 karat white gold faced or rolled gold. Because that's definitely staying down there, but the 18 eats it. And in this case, our 10 karat is nice and strong. Real proper strong, so proper 10 karat. But 14 eats it. So I think what we actually ended up with is 10 karat gold earrings. All right, let me get this cleaned up, and we'll weigh those out, and we'll see how well we actually did. I honestly wasn't holding out hope that these were 10 karat. I thought they might be, but man, I am well pleased. They're just very, very dirty. Maybe we'll throw those in the sonic cleaner. All right, cleaned up. Final weigh in. See how much gold we got. Doop, doop, there we go. All right, so those come in at 2.85 grams of 10 karat. That is a pretty solid haul, actually. And then for those that are curious, these don't weigh a lot, but if you just want to know, because they're 14 karat gold, they're 0.3 of a gram. So that's still, what is it? Gold's 100 a gram, 110 a gram, so 50, like 60 bucks. What, 20 bucks worth of gold? Is that right? Because a third of 60 is 20. So like right now with as crazy high as gold is, that's still like 20 bucks worth of gold just in those stupid 3 little things. That's kind of insane if you think about it. So it really is worth looking for these little guys, because they'll add up, and they will definitely add up to real money if you can find a bunch of them. And like you saw, they were in a bunch of other earrings, and most of the earrings were nothing. These ones I suspected were something because they had the 14 karat backers on them, but I didn't really expect them to be. The fact that they are is very pleasing. So let's have another look at those. I noticed one of the things that's been happening is people have been Google lensing some of these things. So I'm trying to have a good shot if you want to take a little screen print and do that. So they're pretty. I like those. And then, of course, got a bunch of silver too. So pretty good garage sale day when you consider today was the day that I found my new Christmas centerpiece. I hope you enjoyed this video. And more importantly, I hope that you can use some of the information that you learned to go out and find yourself some treasure. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the video. It really helps me out a lot. If I'm going to go out and do a lot of this stuff, I need to make it worthwhile with videos. And when you share or subscribe, it really does help me out on the channel, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Like this, I've been Thomas.